Hello, everybody. Welcome to Rose Poetry. Today, I would like to read to you a poem on the annual Perseids meteor shower, which lit up the skies from August 11th to 13th this year. It peaked on August 12th. Perseids meteor shower is said to be the leftover debris of the comet's swift tuttle. It is an annual event when the Earth passes through the path of this large comet between July 17th to August 24th, with the comet particles passing through the atmosphere at a velocity of 59 kilometers per second. So I thought this to be the right time to talk on it. This poem is written by Twyla Hansen, and the title of the poem, August 12th in Nebraska Sandhills, watching the Perseids meteor shower. Twyla Hansen first published this poem in her book Dirt Songs, a Playing Duet, in the year 2011. The aesthetic beauty of this poem is a treat in itself. Please listen as I read. In the middle of rolling grasslands, away from lights, a moonless night untethers its wild polka dots. The formation we can name, competing for attention in a twinkling and crowded sky bowl. In the middle of rolling grasslands, away from lights, a moonless night untethers its wild polka dots. The formation we can name, competing for attention in a twinkling and crowded sky bowl. Out from the corners, our eyes detect a maverick meteor, a transient streak, and lying back towards midnight on the heft of car hood, all conversation blunted, we are at once unnerved and somehow restored. Out here a furrow of spring-fed river threads. Through ranches in the tens of thousands of acres, like cattle we are powerless, by instinct can see why early people trembled and deliberated the heavens. Off in the distance, those cattle make themselves known. A bird's song moves singular across the horizon. Not yet two, and bits of comet dust, the Perseids startle and skim the atmosphere like skipping stones. In the leaden dark, we are utterly alone. As I rub the ridges on the back of your hand, our love for all things warm, and pulsing crescendos towards dawn. This timeless awe, your breath floating with mine upwards into the stars. Now I would like to read my poem for today. It is an event which took place more than 20 years ago, a little different from what we heard earlier. The title of the poem is When the Earth Danced Wildly. The hilly city of Jabalpur, a summer of 97, a calm morning unfurling, fragrance of flowers swirling, night stepped away, enveloping darkness, the air quiet, waving light, welcoming dawn with silence, birds making clarion calls. Then calamity came flying, quickly harnessed. What early morning risers witnessed, not believed by eyes. It was a tandav at hand. Homes went wild and danced. They stood on shaky ground, bending, moving back and forth. The land, it started to mourn and groan. with all its strength, with all its might. It shook, shivered, howled, then halt like soldiers marching stop. For those in homes and still in bed, the jolt big enough to wake them up. The grinding of steel, all ceilings heard, a booming, creaking sound passed through ears. All of a sudden, there was halt. Diagonal cracks in homes got marked, caved in ground all around, patches of gaping earth, wide open like wounds. The epicenter just across, hundreds of villages shaken, 8,000 weak huts collapsed, but casualties were few. 100-year-old church got struck. Believers felt its time was up. But for kids, there was excitement in all of a return of the rock and roll in the form of an aftershock. It did not damage when it came. For days children waited for the show. They had the story to tell this way in rhyme. In vacation time one quiet day, outside homes in gardens we lay. It was month of May one summer, with days warmer, nights cool. Out with the moon, under the sky, safe we sat, for the sky wouldn't fall. If at all, we thought, as we waited day long for return of the quack, the aftershocks when earth quivered, shivered and hissed with a magnitude more than 6. It shook us from beds. We ran out of homes in our night pyjamas, carrying out wits. A day in summer, as I remember, when an earthquake struck. Out I went with my dog, like the mouse and dickory dock. This was my experience of the earthquake. It was very scary at 6 vector scale. Now I need to tell you that I behaved like an ostrich in danger, sticking its head in the sand, just like an ostrich does. That's a myth. Ostrich sure does not do it that way. With its long legs, it would have just run for its life. But I stayed put, closed my eyes, waiting for the quake to pass. You must never do it like that. Well, I too have a comet poem, The Wandering Star. It was published in my first book, Poet Choice, a Bouquet of Roses. You can check on the NASA image of the comet ISON nearing the sun. It's a funny poem. I had been following the trajectory of the comet when it came into action like an Olympic star. Around the end of December 2013, there was a lot of speculation happening all around. It was written in such a mood. Let me read it out to you. A one-time visitor came whipping around on a wild ride. The comet, a fossil of early times, 5.5 million years ago. The gigantic oat cloud spear of rocks around the solar system stands so large, a slight shake and a nudge here and there, the rock pieces pulled out of its zone, tumbled into the inner home, and went wayward on a free fall. With a wide lump of ice now on the rock, the icy debris dancing drunk, hurrying. Like Icarus it sought to touch the sun, the fury tryst as it gazed. Will leave it roasted and frying, if it survives on luck by chance. Soon get brighter and can go flying, a hyperbolic gallop around the sun one time. The sun got sucking its snowball eyes. Now the year-old comet, ISON in bits, broken by wear and tear endured. Young it was to handle the might of the sun. It baffled scientists the way it did. It went behind the sun and hid. And did it survive the race circling the sun? In our memories, it'll forever be a twinkling, wandering star in the sky.